It is Friday, July 15th, and today is the day that they are going to come and calibrate our new scale. So I was explaining this in a video or two ago. We need to get the equivalent weight of what we want to be weighing. And in the ideal world, the heaviest thing that's ever going to go on this thing is going to be a fully loaded B train of grain, which is not going to exceed 60 tons, or, you know, legally shouldn't. So we're going to need to get about that much weight together to park on this thing. The guy called us a couple days ago, was like, oh yeah, I just have a B train full of grain sitting there beside it ready to go, but we don't have one of those. A B train is a semi that has the 2 trailers behind it for carrying grain. So what we're going to do instead, we're going to load both of our silage trucks right to the nuts with corn grain, and we're also going to park both of our wheel loaders on here if we're able to. So pretty sure that fits, but for sure the 2 trucks, because those will be the heaviest things we can get. We're gonna go fill those things up right now. Getting power trenched from our generator shed, which is just behind the trees over there. The electricians were here yesterday to the new feed mill setup. It's heading in the right direction anyway. This is just one of our silage trucks. We got to put the bolts in the back gate here just to make sure I don't accidentally open this when it's full of corn grain and make a massive mess somewhere. But other than that, works just as good as a grain truck. Just filling that first truck. Once we're done moving grain though this morning, this afternoon hopefully we'll be able to get out to that grass hay and start making some more small squares. It got pretty humid overnight. There's a lot of dew on everything, so we gotta let it dry off. But hopefully after lunch we'll be able to get out in the field again and start baling. Both trucks are filled with corn grain, ready to drive up on the scale over there. We'll just have to grab the 2 wheel loaders when that guy's ready to go. We got some time this morning before we gotta get baling, so quickly hit it with some grease, service it a bit. This is the knot tying mechanism. That's what actually ties the knots and the twine around the bales. And it is a pretty complicated system. You guys can see there's a grease zerk. There's one right there, 2 right there, 2 right there, another one down there, 1 back there. There's so many grease zerks on this, so many little moving parts. It's so complicated, but it does a pretty good job tying knots. One other thing to check out before we are ready to go for the day, do we have enough twine in the back here? And we do. That's a lot, almost 3 full rolls up there, about 2.5 down there. So he's calibrating the scale right now. He knows each one of those blocks is 500 kgs, and that's how we can kind of tell he's accurate. He said he roughly calibrated it with the weight of the truck, but this is 100% for sure, so pretty cool, makes a lot of sense. So that's one of the displays. So when he drops the next set of weights on, it should go up 1,500 kgs. There's still a little white film over top of this display. I think I'll leave that for Dad to peel off. Don't want to steal that from him. Wow, pretty much perfect. Awesome, we're gonna drive the first truck on there. It's at 10,000 kgs total, so 10 tons. quite the process.
Yeah, I guess.
We had a temporary power line dug in really shallow, like 12 inches deep, just to feed that dried distillers grain bin. We've since then moved it to the new feed mill setup, but we got to get that wire out so we can use it temporarily at the new setup. So we got the start of the wire. He's gonna dig a little bit more away though. Yeah, so hopefully this wire will hook up to that electric motor for the DDGs. You guys saw me fill that bin with it the other day, and that's why. Hopefully the same wire can get this one going. Heading to the grass field now. We're gonna try and make some of those small squares. Got the moisture tester working. Apparently it was just a bad battery. So yeah, see how it goes. Made a couple of bales, got the moisture tester, try them out. Should be 14.5, no more. So it's 13.6, pretty good. .4, excellent. And this is on the outside row, so this is always the heaviest stuff, and it's also going to be the least windy here because of the tree row. So this is going to be the highest moisture swath in the entire field. So if this is borderline, as we make our way to the inside, it should only get better. .11, so we're good. Baling away. Dad's following right away behind with the bale picker. So now it's a race whether he can catch up to me or I can finish way before he is. Gotta find a way to keep it entertaining, right? It is a incredibly hot day, pretty humid as well. Luckily the tractor is pretty good AC, but still there's nothing I'd rather wear while doing hay than boots and some jeans. So you just never get any dust on your feet and your socks. And I like wearing shorts too when we're chopping silage, but for hay, it's just, I just can't do all the tiny little bits of hay in my boots. So no matter how hot it gets, this is the way I go. 1,350 bales before we had our first tying issue, which is not bad at all. See, this bit of twine is supposed to be wrapped around the bales, but it's not for some reason. So we're gonna try and figure out exactly why. I can see the problem is down here. There's two needles, and these are what thread the twine up into the bale. And you can see the wire goes through this needle, but it doesn't go through this one. So it's pretty simple to fix. I'm just gonna cut it here, put it through, tie it up here, and then turn it on again. It should work again. So that's literally it. We re-threaded it through the needle and tied it on this bar. Send a few bales through, see if that fixed it. So it popped out 3 more bales that weren't tied. I think there's always a couple in the queue, but now it's tying everything pretty good. Morning, it's the next day now. Yesterday afternoon, we baled 2,000 small squares. It's probably my least favorite job on the entire dairy farm, to be honest with you guys. So that's one of those jobs I just put my head down, don't waste a minute of time, and I just get it done. Same with Dad, he has to pick all those bales. He just wants to get it done as soon as possible. So I didn't really film that much. I think I got a couple clips. But this morning, we are going to empty those loads of corn into our feed bin. One issue with loading grain in our silage trucks, those boxes are made to carry lighter volume stuff. So if you fill them right full with grain, it doesn't have enough power to tilt back, and then you're in a real big pinch. So that's the first truck up. Of course, I wanted to make them as heavy as possible yesterday to get more weight in the trucks for calibrating that scale, but it's pretty awesome. First truck is up. and this one's usually the weaker one, so the other one should be fine. We're just out in the field. We're gonna watch the small square bale picker pick some bales. Dad's always operating this machine after I bale all the small squares, so let's go check it out. I just quickly ripped to the city. I needed a haircut pretty badly, so we got that done. Really helps staying cool on these hotter days. Speaking of, it is almost 34 degrees Celsius, so I guess that's over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly what we do in the milking parlor to keep us and the cows nice and cool. We just had the second group come into the holding area. So the holding area is the place on the entire farm where the cows are packed in really close together. And on a hot day like this, there's not enough ventilation in this barn, even though it's really well ventilated, to keep those ladies cool. So you gotta do something more for them. Cows give off an insane amount of heat. When it's minus 30 outside in the winter, the cows are literally the only thing keeping these barns warm. So that just shows you how much heat they really give off. We're just gonna take that fire hose and we're gonna soak the entire holding area. That, in combination with the wind that comes through because of the ventilation, will cool the cows right off. It'll keep them a lot more comfortable while they're waiting to be milked. So the biggest concern with doing this, soaking the cows like that, is that they might get mastitis because their udders might get wet. But the way a cow's frame is, all the water will drip off the side. And when the ladies do come in the parlor, their teats are nice and dry, so it's never a real concern. So when we were in California this spring, checking out those dairy farms, it obviously gets a lot hotter down there. And they have a lot of really cool tactics to deal with heat stress on their dairy farms. One of their things that they did was to have a sprinkler system right in front of the head lockers in the freestall barn, so that when a cow is eating food, every half an hour or so, or every 20 minutes, a shot of water would go over their backs and keep them nice and cool. So that's how we keep the cows nice and cool. But how do I stay cool while milking cows? It is a, intensive labor job milking cows, and it's really hot, so that kind of can suck. But we're very, very fortunate with our newer barn. We have tunnel ventilation. So all we need to do is open that door, and then there's a massive draft of air coming in constantly, which keeps you nice and cool. But the air outside is incredibly hot. That doesn't really help too much. So what we've been doing is just grabbing our fire hose and letting it mist a little bit. So then I'll be standing in the parlor, I'll get a little bit of mist on me, the wind goes by, and it keeps me nice and cool as well. Pretty cool, hey?
Really cool.
That's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Check out the Instagram @SassDutchKid, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.